Hey guys, Razek here. So I was scouring the internet on self-harm and Trin, and I didn't find really what I was looking for, so I'm just going to talk about Trin and self-harm. So I'll just go over her abilities. Her first ability is Well Life. It'll raise a enemy up into the air and give it 10x health. Any enemies that attack it will gain health back. Do note that when it's raised up in the air, it's completely harmless and won't be able to attack anything. Energy Vampire, you target a enemy and energy will pulse off of it. If you kill it or the duration ends, you'll get a nice pulse of energy. Do note that this is kind of affects the enemy itself. It kind of makes them in a confused-like state, so you can typically take advantage of them a lot more. So you can also use this defensively if there's a heavy gunner around and you want to revive someone. Link will channel any damage to nearby enemies while it's active. And Blessing will restore health and shields to your allies and yourself, and depending on how much health you heal, health, not shields, that'll affect how much damage is reduced. So typically there's two types of Trins, ones that focus on the second ability, Energy Vampire, and the fourth ability, Blessing. So Energy Vampire Trins, typically they'll run very low duration. That's so that they can get the energy as quickly off as possible, and they'll have really high strength, high range, typically even with an overextended. And they'll also have minimum duration, so with fleeting expertise, so high efficiency, and yeah, that's it. And I kind of find these Trins to be lazy because you can just kill the enemy and you'll get the full thing back anyway, and then you can put duration into Blessing, and that's kind of what my hybrid Trin is about. Blessing Trins completely focus on duration. Some have average range, and that's so they can energy vamp targets and give energy to themselves. Typically it's not large enough to give it to others though, so they won't use things that benefit that. And they also have a decent strength for Energy Vampire, so they can keep up the Bless. Also with Blessing, it's very important to have a weapon that can deal enough damage to put you at 2, and that's so that you can get a maximum invulnerability, because the restoring health and shields is nice, but the immunity is really what you're after. Oops. So here I'll just go over some of my Trin builds. So this Trin pretty much is a survival Trin. It has a little bit above average range. That's because you'll be in close quarters in a survival. You'll be camping and all that stuff. And I have nice high duration. Efficiency is actually not really needed on Trin, and that's because with a mod like Blind Rage, with that extra power strength, with your energy vampires are gonna get all your power back. So efficiency, it's not really needed. It's just it makes all your things cost a lot, and you get a lot of power back. So efficiency, not really needed. And for strength, I have 154. This is good. It's nice to have a little higher than this. This is kind of low so you can go. And that just helps with the energy vampire. This would be a raid build. A raid build, you kind of need to have high range, and that's because enemies typically are really far away. And in the final stage of the raid, your allies are far away from you. So it's nice to have high range. You don't really need to have 205 though. You can swap it out for power drift and get more power back, but I prefer to have that range personally. So we'll put that back. And anyways, you can't even run Iron Minded because of that range, so you just put on Continuity, Constitution, Flow, Overextended, Quick Thinking, Blind Rage, Intensify, and of course, Vampire Leech. Do note though that in Nightmare mode, you'll typically want a Streamline over a Constitution. And that is because there's so many drones, it's really hard to get an energy vamp target. So it's nice to have the extra efficiency. But yeah, well, I'll go with that anyway. And this is kind of my extra Trin. I wouldn't recommend using it. It's kind of theoretical at the moment. This would be a raid Trin for regular mode. You wouldn't be able to use this in Nightmare. The efficiency and strength are too low. But it might be usable in regular mode with high duration, high range, and like decent strength. So you can still energy vamp. But you would have to spam it a lot more, and that's just not possible in Nightmare because of the drones. So now on to self-harm. So there are 3 glaives in which you can self-harm yourself. Glaive Prime, Kestrel, and the Sestra, or Katera, however you want to say it. Anyways, with Kestrel, well, not with self-harm, I found that a lot of people, they would build for maximum damage, and I just found that to be really bizarre, because you have quick thinking on, so you're going to take away power, and I don't know about you, but glaives aren't really good enough to do damage to enemies, so I like to build for really like the minimum amount of damage possible. So on this build, you actually get the perfect 2 health, so you won't lose any power, which is quite nice. And because of that, you won't actually need to put quick thinking on. And what that allows you to do is put on extra mod. What did I have there before? Quick thinking. Oh no, that's my weird build. Whoops. Okay, so yeah, I was kind of confused there for a second. So do quick thinking off, put overextended on, and then that allows you to put on a stretch. So you get nice buff to range. You could also put on a intensify if you want. I would recommend an intensify over the stretch on a survival, but I don't know. If you want that range, go for it. What else? I would not recommend going for the you have to use quick thinking for the raid. That's because of the toxic, so you're never going to be at that point where you can really use it. So you absolutely have to have quick thinking for raid. But with the Arcane Aura Helm, because it subtracts your health 15%, that means you have to build differently. And unfortunately, I can't find a build that will get me at exactly 2 health with the Aura Helm on, so you'll have to have quick thinking on anyway, if you want to have that maximum bless. We'll just take off intensify, put that there, and put on quick thinking. So that'll take away 4 power, but it puts you at 2 health, which will allow you to bless for 99%. And for glaive, wait, I don't think I showed you in mods. We'll do that. So, anyways, this would be the one for the Arcane Aura Helm. Max Spoiled Strike, max dual status mod. One for the top. No, not one for the top. One rank 1 pressure point, max fury, max pressure point, quick return, and power throw. Something that's nice about this build is that you can put on Berserker. So, also, if you don't have a catalyst, you could just form it once, and then you won't need to put a catalyst on. But that's if you value a catalyst more than a forma. Some of you might want to put on a forma anyway. I mean, a catalyst anyway, because you're going to build for max damage on a different build, like on a non-self-harm build. So, yeah, I prefer to have Berserker on there. And you don't really need Berserker or Fury, because that does not affect your damage, just your damage per second. So, those are nice to have, to get quicker self-harm, attack faster, stuff like that. And for a 2 health one, this is without the Arcane Aura Helm. You'll need a Power Throw, Quick Return, Unranked Spoiled Strike, Max Dual Status mod, Fever Strike, a Fury, and a max pressure point, Poison, dual status mod. So let's move on to the other glaives. So with Glaive Prime, you can actually get to 3 health with the Arcane Aura Helm. So what that allows you to do is you can take off Quick Thinking if you want to. I would recommend doing that for a survival setting, but for a raid, absolutely not. You can also buff the damage on this build and then add Quick Thinking. So you could just buff the rank on this to be 100%, and then decrease this rank by 1, and that'll just increase it by 5%. If you didn't catch that or understand it, I'll just show you. It's a lot easier to show you. So we'll put this on there, and that'll get you at 109.2. But I like the other one personally. So that's the 3 damage one. And this is the regular one without the Arcane Aura Helm. You'll have one from the top, Spoil Strike, a dual status Poison mod, a rank 1 pressure point, max Fury, max pressure point, and a Berserker if you want. But with Glaive Prime, it's very nice because you have 30 extra, so you don't actually need a Catalyst on this build. But, also with Glaive Prime doesn't actually have greater damage than regular Glaive, so you can actually use this build on regular Glaive, and it'll still work. Glaive Prime just has faster speed, and I think increased status. I'm not entirely sure. But I would recommend... Wait, what was I going to say? I completely forgot. Complete brain fart there. So that would be the build. Yeah, it's not build. So let's move on to the Sestra. Or Sakara. So this would be with the Arcane Helm. It'll be 170 toxic damage. Those two, of course. Max dual status Poison mod. Max Poison Fever Strike. An unranked pressure point, a Fury, and a 1 from the top Spoil Strike. The Config B, the Holy Duo, and you also want... Don't know why I don't have Fury on there. You also want a Spoiled Strike, 1 from the top Spoiled Strike, a Max Elemental Poison mod, a Tier 1 Poison mod, and a Tier 3 pressure point. So I'll just display those in action. So that should put me at 2 health. It does, and it takes away 1 power, so with a Satera you do need to bring Quick Thinking. I couldn't find a build that would put me at 2 health without taking away power, so you'll have to bring Quick Thinking along. And now we'll just put on that Arcane Aura Helm. And that'll take away 1 health again. But you have the Arcane Aura Helm, so that's nice. And I'll do a bit of showcase for you. Let me just get on the build I want. Oh. Yeah, I'll go with that. Also, do you know with Trin, usually you want a single target high damage weapon. I'm just using Toncore because it's my preference, but it's very useful to use Vectis Prime, especially in Raid. Vectis Prime, Volker Wraith, Rubico, Sancti Tigris, any bow, Latrons, Alanka, or what was the other one I was thinking of? And maybe Deku. Vacor Heck is also good when built too. But I just prefer Toncore. So that's me. And I like Vacor Murloc as a weapon itself, and it's a good sniper weapon as well. So I would also recommend it. Currently I'm on kind of a combo build. So if you were to be on a Trin build, it would probably be better just to switch these around so you still get corrosive damage and then put on the cold damage. You probably also want to use a Deep Breeze as well. Gosh, which is really annoying. So let's go to a showcase. So in normal survival situation, you'll start out with lower level enemies. So because of that, I am going to give myself a little bit of power, because I'm going to be going with level 80 level 80 heavy gunners. So it's really important that I start out with a bless. Anyways, you just gotta bless, kill, bless, well, not blessed, or vamp, kill. Also, the Kestrel's really nice because you can fling enemies, so that's kind of fun. But also, it's nice if you're pinned, or if you're cornered, something like that. And that's the Vampire Leech. Very useful mod. Unfortunately, in this kind of situation, it doesn't really show its full extent. That's because it buffs your allies, and also gives you a bit of a buffer for when you need a bless. So you can be under attack and still be in the process of blessing, which is very nice. Anyways, well, let's do the last one, my Vacor Murloc. Or is there any other ones? Guess not. So that's my trend discussion. Thanks for watching. I have some other videos coming out, also on Raid, with Excalibur, Ivra, Loki, Frost. Sorry, I'm chanting my fingers. Loki, Frost, Trin, Excalibur. Wait. Loki, Frost, Excalibur, Ivra, and Trin. Okay, so I did say 5 there in total, but that's because Ivra is typically better in Nightmare than Loki is, but Loki's better in regular, and you need a self-frame. So I guess we'll end in a nice big lag spike, and thanks for watching.